Welcome to a fascinating journey through the labyrinths of our mind, where we will explore how cognitive biases shape our decisions and perceptions in everyday life. These mental shortcuts, designed to help us process information quickly, often lead us to incorrect conclusions or inaccurate judgments. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the 5 most influential cognitive biases, those that silently steer the course of our lives without us barely noticing. And remember, if you're interested in discovering more about how your mind works and how you can make better decisions, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Get ready to change the way you see the world. Rank number 5. Anchoring effect. This fascinating cognitive bias reveals how the first piece of information we receive about any subject can set an anchor in our minds, significantly influencing all subsequent decisions and judgments we make about it. Imagine you're buying a used car and the seller initially asks for $15,000 for it. Even if you end up negotiating the price down to $12,000, your perception of the car's value and the quality of the deal you've gotten is anchored to the initial $15,000 price. Even if you could get a similar car elsewhere for $10,000, the $15,000 anchor makes you feel like you've made a good purchase. This effect is not limited to financial transactions. It can influence our perceptions and decisions across a wide range of contexts, from first impressions of someone to expectations of outcomes in sports events. The irrationality of this bias lies in the fact that the anchor's value is often arbitrary and not necessarily indicative of the real value or quality of what we are evaluating. However, once the anchor is set, we tend to use it as a reference point for our decisions, even when there is evidence suggesting we should adjust our judgment. Understanding the anchoring effect is crucial for making more informed and rational decisions. By being aware of how our minds can be influenced by the first piece of information we receive, we can make an effort to seek additional data and consider our options more carefully before reaching a conclusion. So, the next time you're faced with an important decision, remember to ask yourself, am I being dragged by an anchor? Rank number 4. Confirmation bias. At number 4 on our list of the main cognitive biases, we find one that is especially insidious and omnipresent in our lives: confirmation bias. This psychological phenomenon describes our innate inclination to favor, search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses, while simultaneously ignoring or devaluing evidence that could contradict them. Imagine you are convinced that a certain food is extremely beneficial for health. When researching it, you are likely to focus on studies and articles that highlight its positive properties, overlooking those that might point out side effects or less favorable outcomes. This bias does not only affect everyday decisions, but also has a significant impact in critical areas such as scientific research, politics, and justice, where objectivity should be paramount. Confirmation bias can lead us to make uninformed or even erroneous decisions, as we construct our reality based on a biased collection of information. It's a reminder of the importance of questioning our own beliefs and being open to information that might challenge them. The next time you find yourself searching for data that supports your point of view, take a pause and consider exploring the other side of the argument as well. Recognizing and understanding confirmation bias is the first step to mitigating its impact on our lives and decisions. Language code and text to translate. Position number 3. The Dunning-Kruger Effect. At number 3 on our list of cognitive biases, we encounter the intriguing Dunning-Kruger Effect. This psychological phenomenon reveals a paradox of human self-assessment that is as fascinating as it is troubling. People with limited knowledge or skill in a specific area often have an excessive confidence in their abilities. Interestingly, they believe they know more than they actually do, and this overestimation of their competencies leads them to make poorly informed decisions or to issue erroneous judgments with great certainty. On the other hand, the Dunning-Kruger effect also shows us the other side of the coin. Those individuals who are truly experts in a field tend to underestimate their competence. Aware of the vast amount of knowledge they still do not know, these experts may come to doubt their own abilities, despite their high level of competence and experience. This underestimation leads them, at times, to be less assertive in their statements or decisions, despite being well-founded. This effect was identified by social psychologists David Dunning and Dunning-Kruger, who, through a series of experiments, demonstrated how incompetence deprives people of the metacognitive ability necessary to recognize their own mistakes. Interestingly, the same deficit that prevents people from accurately assessing their abilities also prevents them from recognizing competence in others. The Dunning-Kruger effect invites us to reflect on the importance of intellectual humility and the continuous pursuit of knowledge. It reminds us that, on the path of learning, recognizing our own limitations is the first step to overcoming them. So, the next time you feel too confident about your knowledge in an area, remember this effect and ask yourself, am I accurately assessing my capabilities? Or am I being a victim of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Rank number 2. Availability heuristic. Now, let's delve into number 2 on our list. The availability heuristic. This psychological phenomenon is extremely intriguing and affects our decisions and judgments more than we might imagine. But what exactly is the availability heuristic? The availability heuristic refers to our tendency to overestimate the importance, frequency, or likelihood of something based on how easily it comes to mind. That is, if we can quickly recall an event, a piece of news, or a fact, we tend to believe it is more common or relevant than it actually is. For example, if you have just seen several news reports about shark attacks, you might start to think that these are much more frequent than they actually are. This bias can influence our decisions in surprising ways, leading us to avoid swimming in the ocean for fear of being attacked by a shark, even though the odds are extremely low. The availability heuristic is not limited to fears or negative information. It can also affect our perceptions of what is popular, important, or safe. For example, if we constantly hear success stories about people who dropped out of college and became billionaires, we might start to believe that this is a common route to success, ignoring the statistics that show otherwise. Understanding the availability heuristic is crucial because it helps us recognize that our perception of reality may be distorted by how easily we remember certain events or information. By being aware of this bias, we can make an effort to seek more balanced and objective information before making important decisions. Rank number 1. False consistency bias. And we arrive at number 1 on our list of cognitive biases, the false consistency bias. This psychological phenomenon leads us to believe that we are more consistent in our attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors over time than we actually are. Often, we look back on our lives and rewrite our personal history to better fit the image we have of ourselves in the present. But why does this happen? The main reason is our innate desire to perceive ourselves as logical and predictable individuals. We like to believe that our decisions and beliefs are the result of careful and consistent reasoning. However, the reality is that we are constantly evolving, influenced by new experiences, information, and perspectives. Our beliefs and attitudes change, but our mind tends to smooth these transitions to maintain a coherent narrative of who we are. This bias can have a significant impact on our life and decisions. For example, it can lead us to underestimate how much we have changed over the years, which in turn can affect our ability to predict how we will change or react in the future. It can also make us overly critical of ourselves for past decisions, judging them with the mindset and values of the present, without recognizing that at that time, our actions were based on a different set of beliefs and circumstances. Recognizing the false consistency bias is the first step to mitigating its impact. By being aware that our mind tends to overestimate the consistency of our beliefs and behaviors over time, we can adopt a more compassionate and realistic perspective towards ourselves and others. This allows us to accept change as a natural part of human life and value the personal growth that comes with it. So, the next time you look back on your life, try to see those changes in your beliefs and attitudes not as inconsistencies or mistakes, but as evidence of your growth and personal evolution. The false consistency bias reminds us that we are beings in constant change, and that, far from being a flaw, is one of our greatest strengths. Throughout this journey, through the nooks and crannies of our mind, we have discovered how cognitive biases can distort our perception of reality, leading us to make decisions that are not always the most accurate. However, by becoming aware of these biases, we open the door to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This awareness is the first step towards making more informed and objective decisions, allowing us to navigate the complexity of life with greater clarity and precision. So, the next time you face an important decision, remember to pause and reflect on whether any of these biases are influencing your judgment. And if this journey through the psychology of decision-making has been as fascinating to you as it has been to us, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content that helps you better understand how our mind works. See you next time.